The entire US military versus every working class person on Earth. One day, every working class person in the world randomly wants to kill some dude named Paul. Paul quickly takes shelter in the White House, thanks to luckily being friends with the president. Quickly, the White House is surrounded by the entire US military, down to every last gun, soldier, bullet, vehicle, and spare tire. However, they do not have any weaponry that would instantly destroy more than a 20-meter radius. The working class of the world will try everything they can to break through. Who wins? Here's how the working class wins. They go about their lives as normal with one caveat: no supplies get to the White House. Starve out the military. The US military is quite large, with 1.4 million active troops and even more reserves. They surround the White House with their heavily armored vehicles and tanks with 50 cals everywhere. Too bad they can't have their large explosives, bombs, or artillery, but jet fighters and attack helicopters still have their turrets that would shred the masses. This would definitely be a bloodbath. Snipers on the roof could snipe off any civilian that might have a weapon that could pose a threat. Things don't look good for the working class. Think World War Z. The US military lasts as long as the civilian supply chain for equipment, maintenance, and logistics last. The second that goes under, and it will, the entire house of cards comes down with it in a matter of days. There are probably several billion working class people around the world. What is stopping them from just setting the city ablaze? Only so many troops can take shelter. Once citizens start getting their hands on the weapons of the dead soldiers, it's over. Who would win? A fully staffed McDonald's defending the kitchen against a fully seated McDonald's dining room. The McDonald's staff, while working, get a feeling that something bad is about to happen. They have less than 30 minutes to turn the kitchen into a bunker. In 30 minutes, the customers in the dining room, of which fill every seat, approximately 40 to 50 seats, will get up and begin an attempt to storm the kitchen. Their goal? Get to the manager's office and press a button to close the restaurant. The restaurant is fully staffed, nobody called out that day, giving them approximately 15 people per shift. The staff can use all the tools, objects, and inventory in the restaurant to prevent the onslaught of customers from breaking the manager's office. The customers have far less tools at their disposal, but much greater numbers. There are no firearms allowed on either side. 2 employees are breaking the store policy by having pocket knives on them. Meanwhile, 6 customers have pocket knives in their EDC. The customers, blinded by the urge to breach the manager's office, will not leave the restaurant to get more weapons. Can the staff successfully defend against the customers? Workers take this handedly if they're able to utilize their fryer oil. Even without it, I'm sure they've got some dangerous cleaning chemicals in the back to throw in people's eyes. McDonald's stomp. Hot oil, fire extinguisher, hot coffee, tools. During the 30 minutes, the workers can barricade the doors and counter area with machines and boxes. Cover the front area in hot oil and use a lighter and paper to set a booby trap. Connect drain hose to deep fryer. Open valve, point hose at customers. We are done here. What time of day? The geriatric crowd would love you to believe the old man strength trope, but would get absolutely stomped. Lunch rush with construction workers. The staff's going down. Apparently, no one here has worked fast food. The staff just decided they don't get paid enough for this shit and just walk out. Customers run straight to the manager's office without obstruction, and everyone enjoys a day off. An average man whose power doubles every time he takes a step versus Saiyan Saga Goku. The man is relatively muscular, is 5'8", is in his prime, is in ordinary clothes, does not know any martial arts, and is aware of his power. Every time he takes a step, his speed, strength, durability, and stamina all double. Goku does not know about the man's power and cannot sense any ki on him at any point, and thus will try to go easy on him. The battle is until one of the combatants is knocked out. Killing is not allowed. Dude would ask Goku to go on a jog to warm up and then slap him at the end. 10 out of 10. If the man starts with 10, with 12 steps, he would have more than 40,000 BP. So unless Goku just knock him out fast because he thinks there was no point in fighting him, he would be in trouble. As in exponential growth, that man would be lifting thousands of tons after like 20 steps. That's just taking into account the strength. Google says the average man can lift between 135 to 175 pounds. So that doesn't take into account all the other superpowers they would get. Don't know why you're limiting it to Saiyan Saga. No form of Goku would win unless he insta-blitzes him. I'm not a Goku expert, but I feel like he would notice something's up when the man starts to walk exponentially faster. Not sure who wins, but I'm just saying that. Get it? Saiyan. Goku would see him getting stronger and let him get as strong as possible. 30 steps and this man one-shots Zeno. Could a man in a forklift defeat an elephant in 1v1 combat? Forklift operator is an expert and has been using the vehicle for 20 years. For whatever reason, he and the forklift are plucked from reality and placed on an infinite field of grass with only one other inhabitant, an angry African bull elephant. Is it possible for the man to win? And if not, how long does it take before the elephant can kill him? Rules. Elephant is 6,000 kilograms and 4 meters at the shoulder, and is also bloodlusted. Forklift is 2,300 kilograms and has a max lift capacity of 2,700 kilograms before tipping over. Operator has 20 years of experience and knows the limitations of his vehicle The forklift is also full on propane gas. The operator is also bloodlusted. Forklift will be tipped over probably pretty quickly, and the driver will probably be pinned between forklift and the ground. It wouldn't be close. African bull elephant will be victorious. I don't think you realize how much more massive an elephant is versus a forklift. I was on safari in Africa last year in a very large Jeep with 10 people in it, and we had to stop and sit still for 20 minutes because there was a single bull who got too close and looked like it might charge. My guide said that 10 out of 10 the elephant would destroy us in the vehicle if it wanted to. You ever see how elephants treat 2,000 plus kilogram hippos? Forklift man gets casually tipped over and flattened. Unless the elephant is really unlucky and disembowels itself in an attack, which I imagine is unlikely. Unfortunately for the driver, I would imagine the ends of the prongs are as rounded off and safe as possible to prevent other workers from getting disemboweled. I can't see a situation where the elephant doesn't stomp the fuck out of him. I think it would be possible to train to fight elephants effectively in a modified forklift, but nothing much on a construction site would prepare you for the finer points of tactical engagement with one. A grizzly bear suddenly appears in an airplane mid-flight. Do the passengers have a chance? The bear spawns right in the middle of the airplane. Once it appears, the pilots are allowed to land at the nearest airport. When condition, the bear is incapacitated and the plane makes a successful landing. The bear spawns in with no warning, Rule 1. Rule 2, the people inside the airplane have an hour to prepare once the plane is already off the ground. It cannot land again within that hour. Everyone is given advance warning before the flight takes off. Prep allowed. Don't ask why the passengers still decided to fly. Realistically, a bear isn't going to bother killing 200 plus people. This isn't Reverse Flash here. A bear will see everyone running away in fear and be satisfied that it is safe. I suppose being on a plane might be a strange enough environment to make it go insane. I don't know. Running away on a cramped plane? To where? Everyone puts on oxygen masks and pressurization is turned off for 10 minutes. Bear dies in 2 from exerting itself, killing the passengers. Push the concessions cart at the bear. Make sure he has plenty of food and booze. Hopefully he passes out or lays down. If all else fails, I'm grabbing that guy who immediately took off his shoes and reclined his seat back before takeoff and pushing him at the bear. Yes, apparently you've never been on an airplane before or have no idea how big grizzlies are, because the bear won't even have the space to lift its arm. Every human on Earth suddenly transforms into an animal but retains their mind. Which animal would be the best one in continuing humanity? Let's say an alien species comes to Earth and turns every human into the same animal. However, they get to choose which animal they want to turn into, and they still get to keep their intelligence, their sapience, etc. Which species would be the best choice if they wanted humanity to keep up humanity? Chimps, roughly the same size. Also, they have opposable thumbs. One thing that would be missing would be the vocal cords, so no more singing or talking. Any of the big primates, really. Gorillas, orangutan, chimps, mandrills, so I can be Rafiki. I know that one's not pronounced right. Pigs, of course. Some animals are more equal than others. Holy fuck. Is that an Orwell reference? Humanity would die out unless our human minds could learn to find chimps attractive real quick. Have you been on the internet? You've got loads of primates to pick from, but chimps are probably the best choice. They're relatively dexterous and can interact with existing technology. I would, however, suggest we pick being bonobos, because you don't want human intelligence with a standard chimp's temper, bearing in mind that chimps will freaking castrate other chimps when they're mad. Let's be hippie sex apes. Don't humans also do that? Every country IRL gets to summon one of their mythical or folklore creatures and make it fight. Which country would be in top 10s? Before I even go to this, if what's this called? If Godzilla counts, then sure, it might be Jover. I don't know if that counts as mythical or folklore. Gods don't count, so no Wukong and Lord Shiva. 2 countries can summon same creature. Bonus, each country can summon 5 different creatures. Edit, Lovecraft creatures are not allowed. Creatures from stories that isn't at least 200 years old is not allowed. There are demons and beasts in the Mahabharata that are as powerful as other Hindu gods, so I'd imagine they would be up there. As someone who is mostly familiar with Western myths, I say this comes down to Typhon, Greece, and Apophis, Egypt. And between them, I would put my bets on Apophis, simply due to even Amun-Ra needing help with surviving against him. The problem is Typhon is a powerful god-beating monster. Apophis is chaos in its purest form, the perfect embodiment of destruction, the Sun Eater. Apophis is literally the concept of chaos, given shape, and I wouldn't be surprised if something from Indian myths could beat Apophis, but no mythology I know has any way to stop a being of this level. Ooh, I've got a good one for Iraq. Ifrits. Ifrits are monstrous fire demons from the underworld. Some are said to have multiple heads and some wings. Others to have horrible deformities, but they're all powerful. If you can imagine a Frit from any Final Fantasy game or a Balrog from Lord of the Rings, that gives you a good mental image. I mean, in my country, it'll probably be a toss-up between the big bird and the wingless flying lizard. Not sure how either of those would realistically stack up against Mr. I'm bigger than a mountain and scared off an entire pantheon, Typhon, over there in Greece. Wales has the fuck-off huge dragon. It's a literal representation of the bravery and determination of the Welsh people against invasion. I'm not particularly patriotic, but letting the Welsh be known as dragon lords would make me. Philippines. Bakuna is a massive serpent that can swallow the moon and the sun. Weakest magic system that would destroy the human race. Let's be real, if the human race got any sort of significant superpowers, it's a matter of time till someone causes the apocalypse. It would happen somehow. But for now, let's limit ourselves to magic. What is the weakest magic system that would result in humanity going extinct or Earth blowing up? Both work. Nen from Hunter x Hunter, can theoretically lead someone to creating a Nen virus if they were genocidal. Never happened in the story, but theoretically possible with the system. That's a weak answer though, especially if enough Nen exorcists exist to stop it. Okay, maybe JoJo. Mostly weak with strong outliers. I would kill for stands to be real. How awesome would that be? I just think like, I know I'm a big JoJo head, but holy shit, stands are like one of the coolest like power systems I've ever seen, and it's like a representation of your soul, and they're all named after, well, most of them are named after musicians or something. It's just awesome. I want it real. I want stands to be real. Ultima has a very boilerplate RPG magic system and one spell that ends all life on the planet. Somebody would cast it. Nier. The magic system itself isn't that strong. No planet busting spells, just a god who gives an offer. Refuse and you turn to salt. Accept and you turn to a zombie. There is no defense unless you go through a complicated process with a very high failure rate. Why has no one said the obvious answer? Harry Potter. Apart from Fiendfire, there's not a whole lot of AoE spells, but the subtleties of that system is terrifying. How the could Tobey Maguire Spider-Man beat Miles Morales Spider-Verse in a fair fight? He couldn't. I saw this on the Spider-Verse subreddit, and I genuinely can't think of a scenario where Tobey wins. Any ideas? I'd actually give Tobey pretty decent odds. His skill set is more limited, but he's also far more experienced and probably has the edge in pure strength. In the comics at least, it's established that Spider-Man is incredibly strong, but not at his physical peak yet. There's a lot of early Spider-Man panels that basically say, what an incredible feat of strength. Imagine how strong he'll be when he grows up. With that in mind, you're ultimately left with a 15-year-old fighting against a 20-year-old, or older depending on what version of Tobey. So I'd give it to Tobey. Tobey is stronger physically and was able to survive Electro's lightning in No Way Home. Miles doesn't have the same physical stats as him, and his electrical powers are minor. Giving it to Tobey, though Miles' invisibility will give him some trouble. Bro is arguing against everyone who says Tobey would win, which is everyone at least giving him good odds. And I agree. Tobey has years of experience. Miles, yeah, has more abilities, but that doesn't matter when you have less experience in many cases. I like Miles too, but the guy is either trolling or fanboying. I agree. I honestly can't tell. Which character would cause the most damage if he or she let go of their morals? Only peak to low-level superhuman characters are allowed because we all know what would happen if Superman or Thor let go of their morals and went ballistic mode. So let's keep the cap at mildly to low-level superhuman stats who loses their morals and are now fully bloodlusted, looking to cause most damage to their underworld counterparts. For example, like Daredevil or Batman. Isn't Owlman basically morals off Batman? Dude was gonna destroy the entire multiverse. I think Spider-Man is smart enough and strong enough to do some damage. He constantly punches above his weight class, even while holding back. No morals, you'll need some heavy hitters to take him down. Batman has the most resources available, giving him the biggest opportunity to cause damage. With planning, shut the f up. It's definitely the Batman. Reed, if he counts, types easily, I think. If it's, they just go bloodlusted violently until someone stops them one day, Spider-Man's a good answer. Kitty Pryde maybe, if she counts. Some of the threats would possibly take removing a decent chunk of people to count them among the dead. Obviously, Spidey can be nuked though, IRL. Kitty could probably keep going indefinitely, so maybe too strong. I mean, Deadpool already proved it was him. Once a fourth waller with access to all the gizmos and relics from their respective verses wants to kill everyone in fiction, there is almost nothing you can do to stop them. Let go of the morals doesn't mean change goals. Like Superman with no morals still wants to save people, in theory, if nothing else changes. Every living human is teleported into the ocean. Every single living human currently on the Earth is teleported into the middle of one of the largest bodies of water on the planet right now. Can anyone survive long enough to make it back to solid land? Will the species survive? Rules. Humans are land lusted. Nobody's going to give up and allow themselves to drown. They will try until they die. Humans can work together if they want to, but won't be forced to. Humans can't use anything that isn't another human to help them swim or travel in any other way other than swimming. They have no clothes, tools, or anything that isn't themselves / implanted into or part of themselves. Humans are spread out evenly. No one is spawned inside each other, above or below each other, anything like that. Everyone is level as far as the curvature of the earth will allow. There is no pattern according to age or any other factor. It's completely random, besides everyone being as far from land as possible. Every human has exactly the same stats as they have right now, same height, weight, etc. The sole differences are that they won't need to eat, sleep, or drink for exactly 30 days, and that everyone magically knows how to swim. Sea life will be scared and avoid humanity entirely for the first 10 days. After that, they'll have no fear of people. Humans will seek out the closest landmass on which every surviving human will be able to stand up on. This could be sardine style if necessary. Humans will magically know where all land is at all times. The middle of the oceans? No chance. 8 billion is obviously a lot of people, but taking into account the enormity of the ocean with the vast distances in each direction, practically 0% chance anyone survives, especially when you factor in weather, etc. No chance of survival. The temperature of the deep ocean isn't suitable for most humans. Most people would simply freeze to death as soon as nighttime hits. The temperature will plummet and it's Jover, even if it was a warmer ocean in good weather. Ocean waves would be deadly. Waves in the deep ocean can reach heights far greater than we see on the shore. That's not including rogue waves, which can be even scarier. Things like sharks or killer whales aren't the biggest concerns here. Calculating the distance to the nearest land isn't even worth considering. It's just not going to happen. The surface area of the smallest ocean, Indian, is 70 trillion square meters. 8 billion people, evenly spread, would take up approximately 8 billion square meters. So still a factor of 10,000 difference, meaning not a single human is close enough to the coast to reach it before dying of hypothermia, drowning, or getting eaten. 8 billion bodies floating in the water. Maybe if we form a human raft with as many people as possible and lightly all kicked in the same direction. Only thing I could think of. Is there an award for most unwinnable prompt? Because this is in the running. Anyone who thinks human got this simply does not comprehend how goddamn big the ocean is. We've had even more unwinnable prompts, but this is pretty brutal because oceans are no frickin' joke. Thank you all for watching today's video. I had a really good time doing this one. This is my first time doing r/who would win. I hope I do more of them. And if you like more of them, make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you get notified every time this channel uploads. We do lots of other things, ask Reddit, all that kind of junk. So if you're into that kind of stuff, again, all that stuff, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you again. Peace out. Have a good one.